Good morning, I'm Sharaad Kuttan and welcome to BFM's Morning Headlines. It is the 28th of December and we're racing towards the new year. And we begin with the story that's dominated our papers for quite some time now, the cost of living. And here, the new cost of living recruit, the Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, former Prime Minister, is just one of those other voices, adding to a growing list of voices, bipartisan in nature, that is very concerned about the rise of costs. And this covers, of course, everything from subsidy rationalization to rate assessment reviews for tolls, for KL property assessment, whole range of things. Here, Dr. Mahathir weighs in on the question of electricity tariffs. Yet another voice. One of the things I really like about the headline is the word Turut. Turut, of course, don't be a Pak Turut, which means don't just follow passively and blindly those who tell you what to do. So the word for the phrase of the day is Pak Turut, and Jangan jadi Pak Turut. And that's repeated in the story in the Sun newspaper as well. Dr. M tells government to pay attention to the Auditor General's report, that's the AG, not Attorney General, or to Auditor General's report, and to improve efficiency. So that's his concern. He does make it to other newspapers. In Harian Metro, he's very deep on page 21. Now, the other thing, of course, is the flip side of the story is, in fact, the hunt for organizers of the year-end protests. Either it's framed as an attempt to bring down the government, or it's a question of the cost of living hikes. And so we have had the activists from Turut, which is an organization dedicated to the cost of living issue. He's been arrested, and then this other fella who's arrested in Sarawak. So looks like we might be heading towards a crackdown at the end of the year. Not the greatest way to end the year, I think, but perhaps that's where Malaysia is lurching towards. So there you have it, Utusan. They have a picture of the guy who was recently arrested. Why they digitized his face, I don't know. Here, Halang Perhimpunan Riot Bimbang Huru-hara. So that apparently is a concern by the public, the Riot. Everybody uses it, whether you're in opposition or you're part of the government, whether you consider yourself progressive or you're conservative. Everybody feels that they can speak on behalf of this undivided, undifferentiated Riot. So there you have, the Riot is concerned about riots or chaos. And here 400 reports have been made, 400 police reports. Clearly, making a police report is not the most difficult thing to do these days. So, and what is it a signal of? Is it a barometer of true feelings on the ground? We don't really know. But the fact that the cost of living issue has bipartisan support, that's quite extraordinary. Here you have the new Straits Times engage in an attack mode. They attack the DAP. There you have Lim Kit Siang. Apparently he's raised the Allah issue. And Lim Guan Eng, Chief Minister of Penang, he's raised the question of MCA's subordinate position vis-a-vis UMNO, and apparently this is not good considering the festive season. Also, in the deep inside the pages, you have an editorial. This is written by Adrian. He's a very young journalist, joined the NST I think just a couple of years ago, but there you have him weighing in on the question of the spirit of Christmas and Lim Guan Eng's analysis of MCA's position within Barisan Nasional and vis-a-vis UMNO. It's great that they give young journalists a voice, even if it is to do a hatchet job. Berita Harian has a story on a criminal who developed a strategy to spy on people using the ATM cards and using that to, in fact, steal money. So there you have it. The other story that actually this appears in many of the other papers, high-ranking police officer is under investigation for apparently receiving some 17,000 ringgit a day for some illegal activities. We'll see if that's revealed, his identity is revealed, whether he'll be charged, whether he goes to court and is in fact convicted. So that's a long process. It's all great to say there's an investigation. There's quite another to getting people to actually be held account for what they do. Now, The Star has a story very domestic in nature. This is a story about maid agencies in Malaysia and Indonesia coming to some consensus about fees. The question, of course, is whether the workers involved get a fair deal, and so the consumers in Malaysia. Malay Mail has a story about children and how they're easy prey. What are they easy prey to? Well, strangers And also, apparently, they are victims of parental neglect. So there you have journalists going out, posing as bad strangers, showing how easy it is to entice children at offers of candy and such. In a rather schizophrenic front page, the Malay Mail has a story about diesel shortage. Now, I can't decide which is the story to look at. The Edge Financial Daily has a story that demonstrates some of the kind of obsessions we have in the corporate world in Malaysia. This with building tall towers. Yes, the obsession is American in nature, and we join actually a global culture of tall building builders. Finally, we have Harian Metro. Always a good laugh. Here you have a rather strange way of describing somebody who's got the condition we call albinism. Gadis serba putih, you think that she was a product or something. I don't know why they do these things. I find them rather offensive. But here, front page and center stage is a story about a Muslim individual who apparently not qualified to certify things halal, but working for non-Muslim food manufacturers and doing the dirty job of giving that certification, and he gets paid highly. So here's the idea of betrayal. You have the story of a Muslim who betrays his community to the nefarious non-Muslim. Lovely stuff. Harian Metro, also part of the low-intensity psychological warfare that's being played against the population at large, and much more in the papers if you're interested in a barometer of the society. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been BFM's Morning Headlines. I'm Sharaad Kuttan, and it is the 27th of December. BFM 89.9.